Why am I considered so controversial? Well, I guess it's because maybe I'm a man, or maybe it's my skin color, or maybe it's just because I'm a loudmouth and I say what I think and very dogmatic. Well, this is the way it is, and I guess I'll stay that way as long as I'm breathing. And you can be you and I'll be me, and then we'll get along, I guess. Oh my! And we're gonna look at it, and common sense is kind of like deodorant. Those that need it don't use it, and those that don't need it use it. And it's probably like if I agreed with you, we'd both be wrong. Well, we got a guest today, and we're going to look at it and see what you think. If she's going to be controversial too, she's got her opinions.
Common sense is the ability to use your own judgment and make decisions based on what's best for you, the people around you, and the world at large. It involves knowing when to take risks and when to play it safe. It means understanding what's going on in your life and how it impacts your health, relationships, and your work. But as they say, common sense is not so common. Some people aren't very good at thinking about consequences before taking action. They also tend to rely too much on the input of others or the information they are exposed to on a daily basis, rather than using their own judgment and experience. In this video, we highlight 10 signs that someone may be lacking in this department. So let's get right to it. Number 1, they believe everything they hear without questioning it. If you think about it, most people who lack common sense don't even realize they do. They believe everything they hear, even if it sounds plain ridiculous. They don't ask questions and don't look into things themselves. And this can be dangerous in a world that is full of lies, half-truths, and propaganda. After all, it's easy to get sucked into bad information if you don't know how to discern what's true and what isn't. Number 2, they have trouble thinking critically. Critical thinking is the ability to analyze information and draw conclusions based on evidence. Someone who lacks common sense has a hard time grasping even simple concepts. They may contradict themselves and are often unable to explain why something doesn't make sense to them. Such individuals also tend to jump to conclusions and act impulsively before thinking through all the potential outcomes. They make decisions based on emotion rather than logic, and this can result in making poor choices. Number 3, their ideas are often illogical. If someone is trying to convince you of something and their argument is illogical, this is a good indicator that they lack common sense. Without the ability to think and act with good judgment, they may interpret information incorrectly, come up with unrealistic explanations, and make assumptions that are not based in reality. Those who lack common sense also have a tendency to rely on superstitions or extreme beliefs to make sense of their world. Number 4, they see things as black and white. When someone lacks common sense, they may be stuck in a sort of black and white mindset. They think that everything has to be one way or the other, that there are no other options. People like this cannot seem to grasp the concept that there are multiple shades of gray. They won't consider any other option or acknowledge that people might have different perspectives. This can make it hard for them to understand and see eye to eye with others. Number 5, they are unable to come up with solutions to problems. A lack of common sense can also be evident in how someone approaches problem solving. Without a basis of good judgment, they come up with solutions that don't make sense or are impractical. And if you've ever had to deal with a person like this, you know how annoying it can be. Since they lack the ability to recognize patterns and to assess situations from different perspectives, it usually just leads to arguments, frustration, and general confusion. Number 6, they won't seek help or direction when they need it. A lack of common sense can lead people to avoid seeking help or direction because they would rather not admit that they don't know something or that they need guidance. Additionally, individuals like this often overestimate their own knowledge and underestimate the complexity of a situation. Thus, they may be less likely to recognize when they are in over their head and need help, making it even less likely that they will reach out. Number 7, They make the same mistakes over and over. If you're a close friend or family member of someone who lacks common sense, you may have noticed that they make the same mistakes over and over again. This can be frustrating, especially if you've tried to explain why their actions are inappropriate or harmful. It might seem like they just aren't listening to you, but in reality, they don't understand what causes the unfavorable results of their actions, so they persist in their behavior. Number 8, they're incapable of understanding sarcasm, humor, or irony. If you find yourself in a conversation with someone who's just not getting your jokes, or who isn't able to decipher the meaning of sarcasm, then either your jokes suck, or the other person may lack common sense. If it's the latter, then it's because they are unable to make the cognitive connection between what is being said and what the speaker is actually implying. They simply take it at face value and don't understand the underlying message. Number 9, they talk about inappropriate topics. Those who lack common sense may talk about inappropriate topics because they are unaware of the social norms and expectations for the environment they happen to be in. They may not understand that certain topics are considered inappropriate or unacceptable in some social settings, like in public or in front of children. When it comes down to it, there are certain things that we'd rather not discuss in some situations. And if someone isn't following this rule of thumb, then chances are good that they lack common sense. Number 10, they choose to be ignorant. People who lack common sense often choose to be ignorant because they don't want to take the time and effort to learn and understand the information that is available to them. It could be because they are afraid to confront the truth, or because they feel intimidated by the facts. They may also be influenced by their own biases, and thus more likely to ignore or dismiss the facts. As a result, they frequently make decisions that can negatively impact them or others around them. In conclusion, it is important to remember that common sense is not always a given. While some people may be born with a higher level of it, it's also something that can be developed through life experience. Being able to spot when someone lacks common sense can allow you to better navigate conversations, situations, and relationships. It can help you be more mindful of the advice and opinions that you offer, and use common sense.
Well, what do you think? If you enjoyed this, please subscribe so you can get more videos. I appreciate it, and I like all your comments that you give, and it's adios, amigo.